Blush can make you look lifted and awake, or it can make you look tired and droopy. And it's not so much about the color you choose, more so about the placement. And it's about exactly where you place it on a specific face shape. As I do my own blush right now, I'm going to talk about how blush placement changes across the general face shapes. I will say with blush is a lot more forgiving than I feel like a lot of other techniques for the face when it comes to like knowing face shapes and types of features you have. I feel like blush placement can use the generalized face shapes like circle, square, oval, heart, diamond. You can really get away with just using those general face shape concepts. Before placement matters at all, you need to know your basic face shape. Round faces are as wide as they are long, so they give the appearance of a circle, a round face. Oval faces are longer than they are round, but they have some roundness to them with a narrow forehead and chin. Square and heart-shaped faces both have more angular structure to them. With heart, it has a larger upper portion of the face, and with square, it's generally pretty even, just with some angularity within the jaw and the forehead. For rounder faces, you want to skip the apples of the cheeks entirely, only because this gives the effects of a rounded face even more. And with a lot of rounded faces, we tend to want to create angularity. Blush is kind of one of those things that works invertedly like contour, and instead of adding depth, it adds fullness and roundness and youth. So for rounder faces, keeping your blush up in this area will not only lift the face and create fullness higher on the face, but it will actually give you the illusion of more angularity in the face that doesn't exist, instead of trying to overcompensate and create that with contour. And this is actually the placement application that actually ages a lot of people without them even realizing it, because the same technique that can lift and sculpt one face is the same technique that can drag down another. So for example, like me, I have an oval face, so I tend to place my blush in this area, and my personal preference is to add a slight lift to it just to give me a lifted effect. This placement could look very awkward on a round face or a face that is square. So longer faces and oval faces are trying to create a bit more roundness in particular areas. For longer faces, adding blush on the apple of the cheek and bringing it backwards will create roundness in the face, cutting some of that length and giving you a more youthful look. Someone like me with an ovally kind of face, I also can apply it in the apple, but I personally give it a little bit of a slant to add a little bit of lift. And I would like to say, when you think of these blush placements, think of facial balance instead of just placement and trend, because when you think about it in a sense of balancing the face, it becomes clearer what needs to be done to the face. Okay, with a square face would benefit from the apple-y look. I wouldn't personally, because that's not the face I have, but placing that blush right there in that center and giving it like almost like a kid-like blush, like a youthful blush, would benefit their face. For me personally, this looks clown-esque because it's not the face shape I have, and it doesn't give my face an elegantness. This helps me maintain like an elegant look in my face, versus this gives me like a boyfriend kind of blush, like I'm hot, or just like a very just youthful clown-esque kind of blush. A heart-shaped face, we're gonna create like a C. So we're gonna start a little below the cheek and go in this area, and this is honestly to add some fullness in this area of the face, because we want to balance this look. So just imagine I have a more angular kind of face. I don't, but this is just to create balance and fullness to add balance to the face. This doesn't look half bad actually, but you want to go below because you already have a tapered face, so everything is smaller on this side. So we're adding blush a little lower to add more fullness in the cheek. Let's see face to kind of connect the fullness up here to the fullness that you've created down here. So as where mine as an oval face person is in this area, a person with a heart-shaped face is going to be in here, bring up here. And that creates more fullness in a lower region of the face to add more balance. The key is always balance. Now, there are some universal placement mistakes that everyone makes. And let's start with the first rule, which is do not let your blush surpass being 2 inches away from your nose. And this is for tasteful makeup. This has nothing to do with trend. But this is if you want looks that flatter your face, and these are not specialized events where you're going for a certain look. Keeping your blush at least 2 fingers away from your nose, and don't go below the bottom of your nose. Now, if your blush starts to exceed any of the markers that we just spoke about, so the 2-finger rule or the rule below the nose, that's when it starts to have more of a flushed look, or like you've been running, or like boyfriend blush, or like just like redness in the face. What is it, rosacea? Yes, like a redness in the face instead of a healthy glow. So let's have a quick little recap. If you have a round face, we're gonna do a higher angular blush. If you have an oval or long face, you can get away with angularity if you have an oval face, but if you have a long face, we're doing the cheeks and we're doing it pulled towards the ears. I'm gonna do just above the apples of the cheeks, and we're gonna do it pulled towards the ear. I angle mine slightly higher for a more lifted effect. I honestly feel like it gives a really elegant look. For square faces, we're going to do the apples of the cheeks, circular motion, just because this cuts the squareness of the face and gives fullness to the face. And for heart-shaped faces, we're going for a lower set blush but in a U-like shape to give more balance to the face and cut some of that angularity towards the bottom of the face. Once you know the shape of your face, you don't have to guess anymore. It's going to be pretty easy to know where your blush goes and what looks more flattering for your face. This connects directly to our contour video we did earlier this week. If you want to know your real cheekbone and contour placement, go check out that video. I'll have it linked somewhere in this video. Let me know in the comments below what kind of face shape you have, and I will work that into what we'll cover next. But yes, it was a pleasure sitting with you guys as usual. I cannot wait to see you guys in my next video. But until then, I love you guys. Bye.